Hello, and welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today as we continue our series of virtual town halls brought to you by University Advancement. Our town halls are a forum for you, our most dedicated and loyal supporters, to get a look behind the scenes with our university leaders. I'm Ryan Elias, Senior Associate Vice President for Development, and I'm filling in today for Brad Bundy. I am excited to be in the new Clinical Health Sciences and Wellness building in Oxford. This facility is brand new. It came fully online at the start of this fall semester, and the formal dedication of the building is this evening. Today's town hall will introduce you to many of the spaces in this facility, and you will have a chance to meet many of the faculty and staff who lead the programs that are represented in this building. I'm currently standing in one of the high-fidelity simulation labs, and I'm joined by Steve Large, Assistant Vice President for Health and Wellness. Steve has been at Miami since 2018. And he has been at the forefront of the efforts to make this new facility a reality. Steve, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Ryan.
Steve, I know you've had a role in designing this space. What excites you the most about this facility?
Wow, there's a lot. What I would first say is perhaps the most obvious, and it's just the scale of the facility itself. It's gigantic and it's gorgeous. And the reason why I really want to call attention to that, though, is I think it's also such a nice example of Miami's commitment to the health and well-being of the Miami community and the communities that are surrounding our campus as well. You can't help but notice this facility when you drive by. And so it's just a really nice testament to that commitment, I think. Another aspect about the building that really excites me is the transdisciplinary setup of the facility itself. And what I mean when I say that is there was a lot of intentionality in how the building was designed and who was chosen to occupy the space, so that there are multiple academic colleges, multiple divisions, different types of disciplines of healthcare, all under the same roof. And the hope with that approach then is that because of that proximity, that will then inspire or spur these departments to create together, co-create, solve problems that maybe they might not have naturally solved or as quickly as solved, and just really share space and time with each other. It's really, really exciting.
No, that's great. And you mentioned the location and its intentionality. Can you talk a little bit more about that when you think about the geographic proximity on campus?
So the facility, Ryan, was placed in this specific location on campus because of its adjacencies to several other buildings that are connected or related to health and wellness in some way. So for example, the Rec and Wellness Center is nearby, Phillips Hall is nearby, the Gog and Ice Arena. But what's really neat though is that now that has sort of established this corridor, this health corridor, so to speak. And so not only will folks in the facility be working with each other, the aspiration and expectation is that folks within the health corridor will also connect, create, develop, invent. So really the possibilities are endless. It's really exciting.
Wow, that is exciting, Steve. So coming back inside this building, what are some of the keystone spaces within the building?
There are many. So I would first draw folks' attention to the labs. And there's different types of labs in the building. There's a gross anatomy lab, there's a simulation lab, there's research labs. It seems like everywhere you go, there's a lab somewhere. And they're just filled with state-of-the-art equipment as well. Some other aspects of the building that I would draw folks' attention to would be our clinic spaces. So, we have speech and hearing clinic. We have health services through our partnership with TriHealth. And we also have the student counseling service, which provides the mental health services for our students. And those three clinics all share sort of a wing of the building and the space is gorgeous and it's allowed for growth as well. And so that's really exciting. Another space that I think is really unique that I've not seen on any other campus I've been on is the Wellness Studio. And so the Wellness Studio is being managed by our Office of Student Wellness here. And essentially what this space will do is provide folks an opportunity to sort of play with wellness or have these experiential moments with wellness in real time. And they can decide what works or doesn't work for them. And it's just a really neat opportunity that I'm excited to see come to life. The only other thing that I think I want to call attention to is the details. So as someone is going throughout this space, or even later as you're looking around or as you're watching the video with the different spaces, pay attention to the colors on the wall. Pay attention to the windows, the number of windows, the sizes of windows. Pay attention to where the spaces are actually at in the building. All of that was done by design. And so I think what folks will see is that the building is bright, it's airy, it's joyful, it's gorgeous. It's just a nice space to be in. And again, that wasn't done accidentally.
No, absolutely. No, that's exciting. So, as you know, we've been talking to donors about this building for a while now. Can you talk about some of the donor named spaces in the facility?
I would be absolutely honored to, and I'm so glad you asked, because none of this is possible without the generosity of alumni, friends, partners, and donors. And so there are a few that I'd like to specifically name, if that's okay. The donors that have helped name the space include the Bowman Family Speech and Hearing Clinic Suite, the Connie Micatrato Multi-Bed Skills Lab, Don and Kathy Cinco Clinical Technology Exploration Laboratory, Whitlam Kastner Speech Lab, and the Robert and Catherine Schroeder Registration Area.
This facility has so many great spaces, and Steve, you've graciously agreed to co-host this town hall. I'm going to hand it off to you so you can show us the space and introduce us to many of the faculty and staff that are teaching our students.
Thanks, Ryan. I can't wait. I'm here with Dr. Stephanie Nicely, Chair of Miami's Nursing Department. Stephanie, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
So the nursing department has grown a lot here recently, and I'm wondering if you can talk more about that.
Yes, over the last several years, as you mentioned, Steve, the Department of Nursing has grown exponentially. You know, since 2017, our student enrollment has increased 250%.
Wow.
So this fall semester, we are going to be welcoming our largest incoming freshman class that we've seen in our program's history.
Wow.
Now, we only anticipate that program growth to continue, especially in light of the development of this new clinical health science building.
Yes.
And the expansive learning environments that are available here.
Yes, what a wonderful opportunity, though, to really fill this space with students that are eager to learn. And I'm wondering then if you can talk more about the space itself here, maybe even starting with where we're at right now.
Yes, so where we're standing right now, Steve, this is our multi-bed skills lab.
Okay.
And this is a wonderful learning environment for our students. So as you see here in the center of the room, we have an opportunity for our students to really learn all the knowledge and those basic foundational skills here in that classroom setting. So they immediately learn it here in the classroom, and then they have the opportunity to practice those skills and put everything into action in these beds that are right alongside with our mid-fidelity mannequins. Now, these mannequins, they can breathe, they can talk, they can do heart sounds, lung sounds, our students can check peripheral pulses and do invasive procedures, IV insertion, catheter placement, NG tube placement. And so they have that wonderful opportunity to learn all of that here in the center of the classroom and then immediately practice those skills in this safe learning environment.
That is outstanding.
It's a wonderful opportunity for our students. And not only, Steve, do we have this space here, but we also have our high fidelity simulation center.
Wow.
And in that center, we have 7 simulation suites. And that's an environment where our students can come in and be immersed in a very innovative learning environment. And so in those opportunities, they are placed in situations that are high acuity, but are low frequency events that they might see in the clinical setting. So there we are able to immerse the students in a simulated environment with high fidelity mannequins, and they can practice all the clinical judgment and critical thinking skills that they've learned throughout the program. And they can implement that there in that environment before they ever walk into a clinical setting. So it's truly an innovative space.
It sounds innovative, but it also sounds as if our students leave so prepared.
Absolutely.
Even with things that are as simple as charting. I think in that same simulation space, you have electronic medical records that students can actually input notes.
The entire space is simulated like a hospital setting. So from the moment the students walk in the door, they are immersed in a virtual and a realistic clinical environment. So they can document on the computers all the things that they were doing with patient care, and that system is going to emulate everything that they will do in the hospital setting. So additionally to that, we've been able to develop expansive partnerships throughout the university. So most recently, we've been able to partner with our theater department. And with our theater students and community members, we are training them to be standardized patients.
Oh my gosh.
So not only are our students able to practice those skills on high fidelity mannequins, but they have the opportunity to really embed themselves with clinical decision making, critical thinking, and practice some of those therapeutic communication skills that they learn throughout the program with a real patient.
I love everything about that, Stephanie. For one, you wouldn't necessarily automatically think that nursing would partner with the College of Creative Arts or with theater, but yet you are, and it's working.
Yes.
And so it also, I think, is just such a nice representative of what this building is about,
Yes.
which is disciplines working with each other.
Absolutely, and it only makes sense, right, at a
Yeah.
liberal arts college for us to marry the arts and the sciences together in this wonderful space. So not only is there the opportunities for like disciplines to collaborate in the health sciences, but then for disciplines outside of our health specific sciences to partner and collaborate, really creating valuable learning experiences for our students.
What would you say is next for the nursing department? So you've moved in, there's so much really great space and wonderful things that are happening here for you all. What do you envision is next?
The growth doesn't stop, Steve,
Okay.
right? So we are continuing to grow our undergraduate program in large part due to the amount of additional space that we have here.
Okay.
So we're going to continue to see those nursing enrollment increase throughout the next several years as we fill this space. And again, that doesn't stop just with our undergraduate studies. This past academic year, our nursing program launched its graduate program with 2 graduate degree tracks. One as a family nurse practitioner and one as a nurse executive leader. And in talking with all of our hospital and our local community partners, it became really evident that we also needed to expand the programming that our department offers to support nursing, leadership, and management. So we've launched a new micro-credential as well that will help support all of our local hospitals in upskilling their nursing staff to provide that leadership and management expertise and experience here at Miami University.
Wow, and I am guessing that also plays out perhaps with our partnership with TriHealth as well at some level in terms of working together.
I think that brings up a really great point, Steve,
Yeah.
is we have phenomenal clinical partners throughout the state of Ohio. So not even locally, but all throughout the state. TriHealth being one of those amazing partners that not only helps serve as preceptors for our student, but is a phenomenal clinical placement that extends the learning environment outside of the space that you see here today.
Amazing. Anything else that you want listeners to know or about nursing when they hear Miami University Department of Nursing? Anything else you want them to know?
I think one of the important things is Miami has heeded the call to the national nursing shortage. And I think that that's really important to know that Miami University is invested in health and invested in the health sciences. And this building is truly evident of Miami's commitment to improving the health of our local and national communities.
Well said. Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Absolutely. It was wonderful talking with you today.
Thank you. I'm joined with Dr. Susan Brem, Associate Dean of the College of Arts and Science. Susan, thanks for joining us today.
No problem. Great to see you, Steve.
Good to see you too. Now, you have been involved, I believe, from the very beginning of the design concept of this whole facility. And at the time, I think that was, as you were faculty and chair of the Speech Pathology and Audiology program.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But tell me more, though, about what your involvement has looked like and just what you think when you think about this project.
Absolutely, Steve. So I was the chair of the Department of Speech Pathology and Audiology when the idea came about to build this building that we're standing in now. I was very involved in the development of the speech pathology and audiology spaces, including the speech and hearing clinic and the laboratories. So many of the areas that we designed were like this space that we're in right now, the Interprofessional Lounge. We have 2 of these in the building. And they are designed for our students in the building through all the academic programs who are very busy during the day. So between coursework and clinical responsibilities and some with research, we knew they needed some amenities, some spaces to be. And so throughout the building, you see multiple types of study spaces, individual pods, collaboration tables, reservable study spaces. And we wanted spaces for students from all the academic programs to be able to come together and study and socialize and eat lunch and have those casual interactions.
That's awesome. It sounds as if there was so much intentionality throughout the design process. And I'm wondering what values sort of shaped those decisions. When these folks were meeting to do the design, what were they valuing or talking about how they wanted the design to look?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there was a lot of conversation surrounding the fact that students in these healthcare graduate programs have very busy, long, intense days. And so what are the amenities that we need for those students? So lots of study spaces. There is a cafe in the building with a full coffee bar. There is a space outside of the building called a healing garden where students can walk and sit and just take a break between classes. But even here in this type of lounge, we have microwaves, water filling stations, copiers, lockers for the students to sort of accommodate that very busy day that they will have.
It's just so thoughtful, and I'm struck by the student-centeredness aspect, but I'm also struck at the multiple disciplines coming together. It sounds like you want students in the different academic programs to connect and perhaps to even learn from each other.
Spaces like this allow students to have that casual interaction, but we also want it to be intentional. So interprofessional activities, so more than 2 disciplines of students coming together, learning, problem solving together, is actually usually an accreditation requirement for healthcare programs.
Okay.
And so we need to be intentional about it. And much of that is happening. So there are some research projects with faculty in the building, collaborating here and then outside in other divisions. And then also small grants to support students coming together in the standardized patient area to collaborate and work on problem solving together.
What excites you the most when you think about being in this space and knowing everything that this space avails our community? What excites you the most?
Through all of our spaces, the simulation spaces, standardized patient area, the speech and hearing clinic, students in this building are exposed to the most up-to-date instrumentation, technology that is available. Some of that is particularly in the simulation areas, Stryker equipment, and this is the equipment that students will see in their clinical placements. And the most exciting part of that is it gives students the confidence when they go to those clinical placements, they're ready to hit the ground running. They've seen it before and they know what to do. And that's what we're striving to do here. Healthcare needs students to graduate and be ready to hit the ground running.
You know, when you walk throughout the building, you see lots of classroom space, different sizes, different configurations. Can you just talk a little bit more about the classroom space here?
Sure. So we definitely have our specialized laboratory spaces for learning, but we also have 7 general classrooms for our coursework. And each of those classrooms has a microphone, embedded cameras, a full hybrid experience if we need it for students, and outside speakers. So the capabilities in those rooms with the webcams is someone who is not in the classroom can see the entire class of students, engage with questions, so helpful for a student who's not able to attend.
Wow.
Gives us endless possibilities in terms of expert speakers coming in.
Well, Susan, thank you so much for joining us. And more importantly, thank you for everything that you've done to help bring this building that's really centered on collaboration to life. You did an excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
We are here in Health Services, and I am joined with Akisha Kulabali, the Director of Health Services. Akisha, hi, thanks for spending some time with us.
Hi, thank you for inviting me.
Well, my first question, Akisha, is my understanding now is that TriHealth operates health services here for employees and students, and I'm wondering if you can chat a little bit about the relationship Miami has with TriHealth.
Absolutely. We've been partnering for over 8 years now, and we offer services for employees for their Healthy Miami screenings. They can come in to receive those screenings, but we also offer acute episodic care if an employee, staff member are sick, or their family members who are on their health plan are sick. They can come in and receive services here.
What a nice service. And I can attest to the strong relationship that Miami and TriHealth have. You've been such a great partner to us, especially as we've transitioned to this new space. So how is it? How is it being in this space now? You've been here since, since June?
We have been here since June, and it is a nice space to be in. More collaboration, I think, is going to take place in this space with us being in the building with counseling, speech, nursing, wellness, and PA.
That's amazing. What are some of the things that you like most about your space here, maybe even compared to where you worked previously, or what feels different about this space, would you say?
I think what feels different is that we're more centrally located. We're more visible now, so the students can come in and possibly receive their services because they're curious about what services we offer.
That makes so much sense. And will you talk a little bit about where we're at right now? So there's all kinds of equipment in this room. I'm a little intimidated. What are we doing in this room? What is this room?
Absolutely. So one of the services that is unique to what we do here is we offer physical therapy to the students who may have some injuries or need some strengthening. So we see a lot of athletes here and a lot of students who just need, rehabilitation.
That actually reminds me, you're all busy. And I wonder if you can even share with the audience about how many patients you see in an average year.
In an average year, we see about 13,000 students.
Anything else that you want folks to know about health services here, about TriHealth, about the new space? Like, what do you want folks to leave with?
I want people to know that they can come here to receive acute episodic care. We also provide a primary care service like a home away from home for the students. So if students need immunizations, if they need physicals or gynecologic care, they can receive that here. We also have a unique relationship, I think, with counseling because we have a full-time psych mental health nurse practitioner here for the students. We want to make sure that the students are receiving the care that they need and maintain their mental wellness. And so we offer those services, medical management and medication management. And if they need services related to counseling, we refer them to counseling. And counseling does the same. If they believe that students need services related to medication management or medical management, they then refer those students over to us.
Akeisha, you mentioned this partnership that you have with student counseling and the referrals and the relationships that you have there. And I'm wondering if TriHealth and health services have any other relationships with folks in the building, and if you can talk more about that.
Absolutely. We have a great relationship with Wellness also. We collaborate with them for events that are happening around the campus. But this year we have something special. We'll have a wellness suite here inside of health services so that students can meditate, maybe aromatherapy. And so that space is available, and that's another way that we're collaborating with Wellness.
I'm joined with Chris Howe, Program Director of the Physician Associate Studies Program here at Miami. Chris, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Steve.
Well, let's start by, if you could describe the PA program here at Miami in general. What should the average person know about Miami's PA program?
The Physician Associate Studies program is a 27-month, 114 credit hour program preparing clinicians for dynamic service with a mission to serve rural and underserved communities.
I know it seems like there's a lot of PA programs, springing up. So what makes Miami special?
Oh, there's a lot of things that make it special, not only our students and of course our institution, but also the emphasis on a mission itself. A lot of the PA education fosters a general practice concept with variable associations to disciplines. We recognize that as vital to our interests, but we really cater to a service industry, a niche, and so the entirety of our curriculum is meant to foster that vision. Particularly, we consider research as vital to the students' interests and service to our patients, but our institutions and our communities. And so we do that from the very beginning. In the first semester, we spend quite a bit of time on evidence-based medicine, and we encourage the students to prepare not only for what they need to know to enter industry, but to grow with industry's change. One of those things that we also do in fostering that, particularly with fiscal stewardship and leadership, is advancement of technologies, but those technologies to serve the patient where they are, not necessarily where we think they should be. That's one of the things that sets us apart, particularly with point-of-care ultrasound. We are leaders in industry with regard to point-of-care ultrasound and PA education.
Wow, what an incredible program, though. And it makes sense because my understanding is it's pretty competitive as well.
It is.
And for good reason. So I guess, can you talk more about the current cohort of students? How many are there? And just how competitive is Miami's PA program?
Much like other PA programs in the state of Ohio and in the nation, we only see about a 20% acceptance rate for all exceptionally qualified applicants, and our students are no different. They're all very exceptional. In our first cohort, given the competitive nature of it, we only anticipated accepting 20 students. We actually had to accept 26 because of just how competitive it was and how great the students were. We will reach a peak of 36 total students, and that is our provisional accreditation requirement.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
How are the students doing, would you say? Like, what's your understanding in terms of, are they enjoying their time here? I would be hard not to with how wonderful this building is.
This has been by far the best student cohort I've ever had the privilege of working with.
Wow.
I've been teaching now for several years, and I've always enjoyed the students I've worked with, but these guys in particular. Their leadership is already starting to show. We have several who've already shown exceptional qualities in leadership, getting fellowships at PAEA for policy and future teachers. Many of them are now advocating already at the state level and even at the national level to preserve not only our mission and vision and service for our profession, but also in the preservation of our history for our profession as well.
Amazing.
So they're exceptional.
So Chris, there are a lot of really interesting spaces for the PA program throughout the building, and one of which we're in right now. This is the Innovation Lab.
This is the Innovation Lab.
Talk a little bit about this lab, about what is behind us here, and what makes this space helpful for our students.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, this room itself is a 70-seat student room that allows us to continue with anatomy and physiology using our anatomage tables. The anatomage tables are, in its simplest form, a digital cadaver, but we can actually advance the cadaver experience to produce physiology and apply it to clinical outcomes. And in that way, it really helps the learner apply what they've learned.
That's excellent. And then I noticed, there's a lot of other screens and whatnot and whiteboards in the room. So are these tables connected to that somehow?
They are. This allows the instructor to focus on what they're teaching here and the students to observe it at their table and work on it in groups and teams.
Now, does every PA program have these tables?
No, in fact, very few PA programs will utilize this or cadaver experiences in their education models within the state of Ohio.
Well, thanks for describing this innovation lab. Are there other interesting spaces that you think folks would like to hear about?
We have our diagnostic skills lab, our standardized patient lab, where students will perform an objective structured clinical examination, or OSCE, and then we have the wet-dry skills lab, where they perform all their tactile procedures, which are important to critical skills. And then our gross anatomy lab, where we can marry what they learn in the gross anatomy experience with what they experience in the anatomage table.
It's just so comprehensive and instills a lot of confidence. I'm thinking if I'm going to have a procedure done for my own healthcare, I'd want a Miami PA to do it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Anything else that you want folks to hear or know about when you think about the Miami's PA program?
Just how excited we are to be here and thrilled to partner with our students, and we believe that they will be clinical innovators taking great care of our communities.
That's so good to hear. Chris, it's great spending time with you, and
Likewise.
we've worked together now for a while throughout
Yes.
this new building, and we couldn't have a better, stronger leader for the PA program.
Oh, thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Chris. We are here at Student Counseling Service, and I'm joined by Dr. John Ward, the director. John, hi there.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us today. Now, you've been at Miami in your role for a little while, or you've been at Miami for a little while.
I've been at Miami for about 20 years now.
My goodness. And how long have you been director?
I've been director for about 5 years.
Okay, excellent. Now, when you think back over those 20 years, what has shifted for you when you think about college mental health, but particularly here at Miami?
Well, one of the things that has really shifted over the years has been the amount of students that are coming in for services. Probably 20 years ago, we were seeing around 7,000 to 8,000 students per year. Now we're up to about 11,000 to 12,000 appointments that we're seeing per year.
Wow, so you all stay busy.
We do, absolutely.
What would you attribute that to? Do you think that, those extra 3,000 or 4,000 students a year that come in?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, wow. When I think about the reason for more students coming in, a couple things come to mind. One would be stigma, or actually decreased stigma. So when I think about generations now, or the cohorts that are coming into Miami, they don't have the same level of stigma related to mental health issues that some of the previous generations did. They're talking about it in K-12 schools, they're talking about it amongst their friends, so they're just more free in terms of talking about it. Awareness. So over the time that I've been here, we've been doing quite a bit in terms of trying to reach out to the students and saying, if you need help, we're here.
Okay.
Come get us, tap us on the shoulder. And so the students are actually doing that now, and so that relates to one of the reasons that we're probably seeing more students.
That makes so much sense. What do you like about this space? What helps set this space apart, or what excites you about this space?
Yeah. One of the things that is really cool about this space is that we're able to expand to meet the needs of the students that we have. So when I think about the office space for individual therapy, I'm really excited about that and the space that folks have just to do that type of work. But then then also I think about the groups that we have and the opportunity to really expand our group offerings and the group programs, because what we have here in this space is really cool for that. But we offer group because we know that it's effective. It works really well for the college student population.
Wow, amazing. What are some examples of groups that you have, or groups that seem to always run every single year without fail?
Oh, absolutely. So we're always going to have groups that are based upon anxiety and helping students deal with the anxiety and stressors that they have. We have a grief group to help people through that process that they might be going through in life. We have an art therapy group that's really fun and neat and offers a different medium for people to sort of express themselves and get those emotions out there and talk.
Wonderful. You mentioned anxiety, which then also made me wonder, what are some of the most common concerns that students bring into the space?
So when we're thinking about counseling, one of the most common concerns is anxiety, right? Followed by probably depression after that. But when I think about anxiety and depression, they're really two different sides of the same coin. So we oftentimes see students presenting with anxiety or depression related concerns. But that third would probably be relational types of concerns, or perhaps transitions. So you think about students that might be dealing with issues with their partners or issues coming from their family of origin. So we're going to be supporting students with those types of issues. Or something related to transition. So in our fall semester, those students that might be dealing with intense homesickness. Or our seniors, as they graduate, thinking about spreading their wings and going out into the world, but having some apprehension about that they really need some professional support to sort of get over so that they can succeed.
I'm wondering though about parents, alumni, even friends of the university, if you've noticed more attention on mental health and how that's even looked by way of folks supporting the work that you're doing.
Absolutely. I think that all of those partners and friends that you mentioned have been more aware as those students have been more aware. And one of the things that has been really awesome is that folks have taken an opportunity to say that we want to support in some way the work that you all are doing. So whether that's offering time or some level of resource, folks can really make a huge difference in terms of supporting the work that we're doing here to support our students.
I'm also just, as I'm listening to you, I'm really struck at just how comprehensive the services are that you provide here by way of individual therapy, group therapy, after-hour crisis. It sounds like you do a little bit of everything and that you do it well. And so I thank you for that, and I thank your team for that. It's so important.
Absolutely.
I am joined by Dr. Donna Scarborough, Chair of Miami's Speech Pathology and Audiology Program. Thanks for joining us, Donna.
Oh, thank you for having me today.
Of course. Can you share a little bit about the Speech Pathology and Audiology Department, just from a kind of a big picture?
Sure. We have both an undergraduate program and a graduate program in speech pathology. And then we also have active research lab and a full clinic that serves both the community and the students and university.
That's outstanding. And knowing you, I know you're humble, but my understanding is that your graduate program is actually nationally ranked.
So for master's only program, we are in the top 5 in the country.
Wow.
And so we have had that designation for as long as I've been here,
Wow.
which is a long time. So I'm really excited about that. And you're right, I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, as you should be.
Yeah.
You mentioned you've been here a long time. I think it's 20
Yeah, 20 years,
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
20 years this fall.
So
yes.
I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about, over those 20 years, how the Speech Pathology and Audiology program has evolved, and particularly in this space, like what really excites you about it?
Well, we were truly starting to be limited by the actual physical space in Bachelor Hall. So our clinic couldn't grow. The research labs, we were maxed out. And so in this new space that we're really going to be able to grow and expand, and it'll be best for both our students and for the community at large. Some of the individuals groups that we serve are like the Knowles of Oxford, Oxford Senior Center, the McGuffey Montessori School, Mini University, just as examples.
That is really interesting, and I wasn't aware of that. But what really stands out to me, as you know, is a cornerstone of this building is collaboration,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
you're doing that. You're
Correct.
collaborating in the community, you're collaborating across campus.
Correct.
Even the example with athletics and with the vocal students.
Yes.
I love hearing that. And I also am curious if do you envision collaborations with other areas in this building?
One of the most exciting opportunities that we have just launched and initiated, and they just received a grant from the university, is through PA, nursing, speech pathology, and the theater department for using standardized patients. And so they've received this wonderful grant by the university, and they've actually gone to Chicago to start some of the training, and we're launching that this upcoming year. We also have already initiated some programs with student wellness. One of my passions is really working with the students and starting to develop self-care plans that they can start at the undergraduate level and then launch and use throughout their career. So a lot of the patients that we serve have a lot of challenges, and so not only do we want to be taking care of our patients, but we want our students to be taking care of themselves.
Oh, that's so great to hear. And it just clearly, this cross-discipline collaboration is just intertwined in everything that speech pathology and audiology is doing. And my guess is that that's largely informed by your leadership, so thank you for that. What would you say differentiates Miami's speech pathology and audiology program from other programs that might exist in the country?
That is a great question. So I feel like I can answer that on a couple different levels. The first thing is our students get actually direct interaction with our patients in our clinic, and that starts at the undergraduate level, and that's unusual. We have our students starting their sophomore year, they can start observations, and then by their senior year, they're actually integrated into the therapy sessions that are being held in the clinic.
Wow.
And then at the graduate level, our first year graduate students, they provide services to our patients in the clinic throughout the whole academic year. And they get a variety of experiences there because we have such a broad population base that we're serving that's really outstanding. And on the second side of that is I feel like not all universities have the opportunity, that a lot of them are strong in clinic, or they're research-based, but we're definitely an integration of both. So we've had undergraduates, I think we had like 23 or 24 that actually were presenting nationally last year at the undergraduate level, and then several that also co-published with authorship on papers, professional papers with our faculty, and that also happens at the graduate level as well. So I think it's kind of the trifecta of the clinic, research, and then of course all of the academic rigor that goes on that separates us.
Well said. You know, and it sounds like fantastic opportunities for our students, but that ultimately directly impact patients and patient care.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
excellent.
So, thank you.
I'm joined with Rebecca Young, Director of the Office of Student Wellness here at Miami. Rebecca, thanks for joining us.
It's great to be here. Thanks, Steve.
Of course. So my first question is, can you talk a little bit about student wellness and how is that different from, say, counseling or student health service?
Sure. So the Office of Student Wellness is not a clinical service.
Okay.
We do education and outreach and programming. We provide activities for students so that they can develop a passion for lifelong wellness.
Amazing. And is that you that's offering those services, or maybe someone else?
Oh, someone else. So we recruit students to go through a training program so that they can become certified peer health educators. This means that they're prepared to give programs and workshops on a variety of wellness topics, including substance use, but also nutrition or physical activity. It's a way to help students learn from their peers on a way to navigate the student experience at Miami in a way that's healthful.
I love that, and I would guess that because it's a peer-to-peer model, that students really receive that well and engage well with their peers.
It's actually an evidence-based model. Many college campuses use it because we know that the information is more relevant and authentic when it's coming from their peers.
That makes a lot of sense to me. And so you talked about the peer-to-peer approach that you have with your area. How else is wellness sort of intertwined in this facility?
We actually have an opportunity to utilize a wellness studio. This is a space where students can come and have a playground for wellness. They'll be able to engage in massage therapy or aromatherapy, arts and crafts for stress relief, or just a healthy after-school snack.
Where would you say wellness has evolved, and what really animates or excites you about this space?
So I think that we have been very good as an institution of recognizing what our student needs are. And I would say where we have grown the most is around mental health promotion. We understand that we need to build a safety net, and it requires a lot of different partners on campus to come together in order to support our students. And so our role at the Office of Student Wellness is to provide that training and outreach that we talked about earlier, such as QPR, which is Question, Persuade, Refer. It's a suicide prevention program designed to be delivered by peers to their peers, and it helps them recognize some red flags around emotional or psychological distress.
You know, what I really appreciate about that is that we are all in this together, right? When you think of mental health, it doesn't only have to be student counseling. And so I think it's excellent that this building really has created that infrastructure to celebrate that mental health is everyone's priority. Anything else that you want folks that are listening in to know about the Office of Student Wellness, about your work, anything else that you think folks should know?
So we're here to talk, we're here to listen, but mostly we're here to have fun.
I love that, and I can tell too as well. So it just seems as if you center students in everything that you do and you have a good time while doing it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Steve, that was fantastic. Thank you for introducing us to the people who are at the forefront of Miami's health sciences and wellness programs. Finally, I would like to introduce you to Spencer Stiles, who is a Miami alumnus and group president of the Orthopedics and Spine Group at Stryker Corporation. Stryker is a global leader in medical devices and equipment manufacturing, and thanks to their generosity and partnership, this new facility features state-of-the-art medical equipment that will help prepare our students for the equipment that they will see on the job. Here's a message from Spencer.
Hi there, my name is Spencer Stiles. I'm a 1990 graduate of Miami and really excited to share a few remarks about the amazing clinical health science facility, an amazing facility that's been a long time in the making, and we at Stryker feel a great privilege in working with Miami on helping do a small part in creating that facility. So my history goes back to when I graduated from Miami. I joined a small company named Stryker at the time that's now grown into a large multinational that serves communities and care environments all over the world. And we make products for inside the body, such as hips and knees, to all acute care setting, beds, stretchers, the back of ambulances. All these are areas that we make specialized products to make sure we're serving caregivers, which really ties very nicely into what we're trying to create at Miami, which is a differentiated program on how we educate and train our students that are thinking about careers in healthcare, be that in nursing and administration, maybe it's in the manufacturing and the design side and like what we do at Stryker, but having a specialized area of focus, a building, a facility that brings together a community of people that are working on this is really a differentiated strategy in higher ed right now. I applaud the leadership of Miami University. We love the partnership where we've been able to help build curriculum. We've built obviously specialized focused awareness, but ultimately we're shaping the way students are trained and educated with the type of equipment, the technology they're exposed to that are very realistic and prepares them to enter the workforce ready to tackle the most challenging cases, the realities of the healthcare environment, the technology that's in all institutions of today, and really to serve those communities worldwide. I think back about the journey over the last few years, and I'm really proud where Stryker has been able to help, but at the same time play a small part in making sure that we're helping our students at Miami continue to be educated and trained the right way. Our future is very bright, knowing that the facility, the technology, and the relationship. I couldn't be more proud of the opportunity here and look forward to the great impact our Miami students will have all over the world as they make healthcare better.
Thank you, Spencer. And thank you to all of you who joined us online. We truly appreciate your loyal and dedicated support for Miami. Until our next town hall, I hope you all are well and have a wonderful fall. Love and honor.